Hi everybody, welcome back to another really interesting day. So much for us to get through this morning. So let me start off by talking about some of the predictable and hilarious alarm in the media following this news. Yes, Boris told us to be careful. Go out, enjoy yourself, but not too much, because lockdown, not vaccine rollout, has slashed deaths, hospitalizations, and infection rates. And he goes on to warn the nation that cases will rise again. Now, this is really, really interesting because I covered this last night in a previous video, but I wanted to expand a little bit because here's Boris Johnson saying lockdowns, not vaccines, vaccine rollout is the key factor. He's not alone. Over in Canada, Justin Trudeau has responded to criticism by saying it's really important we work from facts and understanding of the science around things, adding, quote, vaccinations on their own are not enough to keep us safe. Do you see where this one's going, folks? Do you see where this one is going? So they've absolutely played their populations. Everyone's been told, hammered into them 24/7 through the lamestream media that you got to get your vaccine to give you protection, to give you immunity, to save granny, all those things. Get your jab, get your second jab, maybe get your booster jab, get all the jabs. And now that so many people have had their first and second vaccinations, Boris tells them, well, actually, it's a lockdown. It's the fact we keep you folks locked up is saving your life. That's fundamentally what he's saying. Now, it's been hilarious to listen to people like, for example, Julia Hartley-Brewer on Talk Radio splutter in outrage at this. Julia, of course, has been an enthusiast for the UK's world-leading vaccine rollout. But hey, all of a sudden it transpires that, well, yeah, that's lovely to have, but it's lockdowns that do it, Julia. And if you say, Julia, but where is the science for lockdowns working? Well, of course, there's little of any. I'm not aware that there's any scientific data that shows that lockdowns work. I can show you, however, evidence that says that not locking down works equally as well. Have a look at this. This is Sweden. This is their all causes mortality, excess death score. And if you look across to the far right, you'll see as we've gone into 2021, Sweden has come right back into the exact normal range for this time of the year, just like the UK actually. But here's the thing, Sweden didn't lock down. So if Boris Johnson is right and lockdowns are what's driving down deaths, infections and hospitalizations, can someone tell me what's driving it down in Sweden? It's awkward one that for them. But here's another interesting thing. We've discovered today that around about a quarter of registered COVID deaths are not caused by the virus. Well, this will come as news to no one who's been actually paying attention. But the mainstream media is naturally surprised at this here. So let's read into what they're saying. And for YouTube's benefit, this is the Office for National Statistics saying it, not me. 23% of coronavirus deaths, which are registered, are now people who have died with the virus rather than from an infection. So what that means, if you want to put that in kind of broad numbers, and they haven't changed this death toll, by the way. This is the official government death toll with COVID-19 in the death certificate. They're still using this misinterpreting way of stating the number of deaths. It says 150,419 people have died with COVID in the death certificate. We now know that a quarter of those, which is a blooming big number, a quarter of those didn't die from COVID. Okay, we're clearing that one. Actually, I'm a bit shocked because I, on a purely speculative basis, would suggest that might even be higher. But here's the thing. How come it's taken them over a year to admit that almost a quarter of deaths aren't caused by COVID? How come? When was this analysis done that revealed the 23% figure? Do you think that analysis might have been there a month ago, 2, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? At what point has this revelation occurred? Strange, isn't it? Here's another interesting thing. Here's the BBC main news portal this morning. And as you can see, it's the usual stuff, the usual, well, first of all, a little bit of mix and match. UK COVID vaccine trial expanded. Yes, UK government thinks that you should perhaps be considering, getting mixing different shots for first and second. Get like a mixer. Oh, I fancy Pfizer to start with, and then please, I'd like, give me the AstraZeneca. Maybe not the Johnson & Johnson one. We better not talk about it. But the BBC talking about having a mix and match. Surreal. Yeah, surreal stuff. Even as AstraZeneca is being paused in many countries around the world, even as Johnson & Johnson is paused everywhere around the world. The British BBC thinks, let's get mix and match. Let's get our cocktail, our COVID vaccine cocktail. What could be better? And then, of course, there's the usual race hustling here, all the sort of stuff that you expect from the BBC, all garbage. But it's the dog in the middle of the night, the dog that didn't bark in the middle of the night. Nowhere on their news portal do they think it's even vaguely important enough to let you know that a quarter of people that they've been reporting as having died from COVID didn't actually die from COVID. They didn't think that was important to let you know. I wonder why that might be. Do you think, I'm just putting this one out there as a random thought, if it goes against the government BBC narrative, it ain't appearing on their wonderful news channels and platforms. So there we have it, folks. We have a remarkable world where you're being set up entirely for the next lockdown. I'm sure you can see that now. I'm just putting it out there so at least history will record. I did tell you lockdown 4 is absolutely coming at you at a speed of knots. I'm not sure what the trigger will be to introduce it, but Boris has made it clear. He's been explicit. It's the lockdown, in his view, that saves lives. Vaccines, meh, not so much. He said it. Trudeau repeated the same. The World Health Organization, I think in the past few days, has also made the same kind of comments that and it's part of the armory. Vaccinations are part of the armory in fighting COVID. But don't for 1 minute think that vaccines alone can do it. And in a way, that does make sense to me, because you see, none of the vaccine manufacturers have ever claimed that their vaccines stop the transmission or infection from COVID-19. They've never said that, to be fair. What they have stated is that they ameliorate the worst symptoms, which may be the case or may not be the case. It's still at a stage where we can't be 100% certain, but there's evidence that suggests that. Okay, so we can agree on that. So that would then raise the question, if vaccines don't stop you getting it or spreading it, what's the point in having a vaccine? What's the point of the government locking you down? Well, if the government can lock you down, that means it absolutely controls your life. It can take away your liberty, your freedom, your job, anything it wants. And that is the point of lockdown. Johnson is demonstrating that he controls your liberty and freedom, not you. And so that's why you can play fast and loose. One month push vaccines, the next month push lockdowns. Because the truth is, I believe that the intention will be to continue very much with both of the above. So, as I say, the evidence that seems to have surprised so many people shouldn't surprise anyone who's been thinking about this for any length of time whatsoever, and that's before we get into the issue of the mutations, the South African mutations, any other mutations which may reach our shores and which we now have got in London. I believe there was 30 cases found in London yesterday. Someone had told me it had risen to 50, maybe 100. So I'm not sure of that. I can't source it. But certainly the South African variant has been stated as being present in parts of London. That variant, we know, is largely unaffected by the AstraZeneca vaccine. The efficacy, according to a study in South Africa, is down to about 10%, which is why South Africa didn't go with AstraZeneca. So the awful reality for so many British people is they believed Boris when it came to taking the vaccines. They've believed Boris when it came to locking them down. At every point, they believe this prime minister, whose entire political career, never mind his personal life, is characterized by not speaking the truth. Well, I'm sorry, folks. If you're so stupid to believe someone like this, then honestly, you absolutely deserve all, all that you get. Well, that's what I think anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and we will catch up with each other later on. Do make sure, by the way, you subscribe to my other channels. Do remember, some things cannot be spoken on YouTube anymore. So if you want to have more spicy conversations, follow me on brand new YouTube or follow me on Odyssey. Those are the channels to get me on if you want free and unlimited speech. Anyway, that's it. Speak soon.